folks don't have basements, so you want to get to maybe an interior room, or you want to get to a closet. The other thing is too, Haley, if you lose power, here's what you need to know right now. Again, as we look out the door here, this is our live Centex roof system sky tracker. Look at the sky there. It looks very mean off to our west. If you lose internet, you lose power, you lose anything like, you can always get us on your phone, on your iPad. Remember, fox44news.com. We are streaming live right now, and we are bringing you the very latest information on the warnings, which way it's heading, what you need to do right now. But as we focus out in this direction here over toward the Lake Waco area, very ominous. You see the lightning going on at this time. We need to be seeking shelter at least at this moment. Once again, that tornado warning is just to the north right now of the Waco area, but a lot of the activity still is pushing in this direction, and it doesn't take much for it to shift one way or the other. You can see all that lightning. It's high based right now, meaning we're going to see some very heavy rainfall. We've got that area flood warning, flash flood warning for Bosque County that goes until 8:15. But there's Lake Waco. We were looking off to the west. There's to the north of Lake Waco. Hail out there, possible rotation in this region. You can see where that inflow notch is right now, and that would be an indication of a tornado, rotating wall cloud in that area. Here's Lake Waco, here's Waco, here is basically Beverly, and the Woodway area is just to your north right now, but you still need to be on the lookout and be weather alert, because this may slide a little bit farther down to the south and to the east, and that may take it a little bit closer to Lake Waco and over toward the Spiegelville area. Conditions right now are pretty ripe, and there are the communities that could be looking at some very active weather as it moves into your area right now with that possible tornado over toward Lake Waco at 5:36. You know, that's only in 6 minutes. Bosqueville, 5:38. Belmead, 5:50. Over toward the Elmont area at 5:52. It's all marching in your direction. Just to the north right now, at least our tracker is taking it just north of downtown Waco, which is some good news, but not good news for Lacey, Lakeview, Elmont, Ross, the Golston area. That's our hail path. That's China Spring down toward the Caldwell Crossing area. That's indicating the hail continues to drag off to the east. Some of that darker colors you see in there, some larger hail. We've had reports of hail over 2 inches in diameter. There's the tornado warning. Again, this north central part, the northern part there of McLennan County, the western part of McLennan County. Waco itself is not included, although we are hearing some sirens out the door at this moment. To the north up in Bosque County, that's a severe thunderstorm warning, but we're going to focus on this right now. If you live in the west area, you're definitely going to be seeing the rain pick up. It's very, very heavy. Ross down toward Elmont, right along I-35. Areas back off to the west over toward Golston. There's China Spring, Caldwell Crossing, and again, the area of concern is being shown right there on our velocity. We go back and forth to kind of indicate and show you it's kind of lining up right where it is, and you'll notice this is kind of indication of that hook echo that you always hear about meteorologists talking about. This is the spot. We'll put a storm tracker on there for you. Take it over toward Caldwell Crossing right now. Again, the warnings continue to come across. More weather information. You can probably hear the alarms there in the background there with our computers. Rock Creek around 5:47. Patrick around 5:48. There's Lake Waco at 5:50. You don't want to be out on the water. If you know anybody out in the water right now, call them and warn them and say, hey, get off the water. That's the worst place you want to be when we've got a supercell moving your way over toward Bosqueville at 5:52. The Golston area around 5:53. This is continues to track off in that direction, and it's holding its own. Some of the rotation's been kind of pulsating up and down, but it's been very, very strong. Well-defined little info notch right there, and this is the area that we're kind of watching very, very closely as it moves off to the east. If you are in west, you're over toward basically the Lacey, Lakeview area. The rain's coming down pretty good. It's going to get heavy out there. You could see some pockets of hail as it pushes off in your direction. That other spot is a little bit farther back to the north. As you can see, some heavy thunderstorms that are moving through parts of Bosque County, beginning to push into Hill County. Very, very heavy rain rainfall right along I-35 back toward the Waco area, seeing not only some very heavy rainfall, but some large hail up toward the Stephenville area. This is some big time hail. We've had over 3 inches, I think, Haley, was it 3 inches in diameter? Very, very large hail. So we'll watch where that goes right now. But as we get a little bit closer in here, again, you're probably just getting home for work here. It's starting to rain across parts of the area. Waco, again, it's just to your north. You're probably going, why are the sirens going on? This is why they're going on right now. Tornado warning for basically the north central part, the northern part of McLennan County, the western part of McLennan County that run until 6 o'clock this evening. Again, we've got that tornado watch that goes until 10 o'clock for all areas, but that continues in that darker color there. Rock Creek, look at that, some large hail. Now we've got a couple of those indicators being picked up there. We maybe just have one large rotation going on, Haley, but for the most part, now you can see a couple are starting to show up with that cell.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the only tornado warned storm that we have here in central Texas. It's going to be in northern McLennan County once again, moving into Valley View at 540, Lake Waco at 544. They were talking about a couple touchdowns, but we did have this confirmed tornado at one point, when was that, maybe 20 minutes ago or so, back off to the west towards Valley Mills in southern Bosque County. So this is the storm that we're eyeing, and we've kind of kept our eye on because it's got a lot of energy and a lot of potential in it. Back up to the north, once again, I'm just kind of going over what Mike said and just kind of getting your bearings set, but we are still under that severe thunderstorm warning for Bosque and for Hill, and that'll go until 6:15. This is mainly a very heavy rain threat, as well as some very large hail. Could be looking at hail upwards of golf ball to tennis ball size hail in this cell up to our north. A lot of lightning with this as well. Make sure to get indoors if you can. We also have a thunderstorm coming down from the northwest, and that's looks like it's gonna clip, it could be potentially Mills or Hamilton into northwestern Bosque. So we are eyeing that, but as of right now, it's still out of the viewing area. This has some it's a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. That's why it's flashing this kind of brown, light, kind of tan color. Could be looking at some baseball to softball size hail within this storm. I mean, the hail path on this is incredible. You start to get into these very dark colors, and they almost start to turn white. That's some incredibly large hail, and that's all moving, unfortunately, in our direction. So hail was definitely going to be the
Yep, and you see that there in Mills County. Now, they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning there for a possible tornado in that area, but also the big threat would be the large hail. We could see hail as large as 2.75 inches in diameter in Mills County. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning goes right now until 6:30 for that area. And what we are looking at right now, if you're in Buffalo, you're going to get hammered. Also over toward the Ridge area, not far away from Big Valley. But it looks like that will continue to be moving through your area. Bosque report, we're getting reports in from Bosque of some very strong hail right now. We've had quarter-inch size hail being reported right now in that area. So we'll slide you back over to Waco here, and what we are looking at for the most part, again, that is the cell that's beginning to push into Mills County. That's under the severe thunderstorm warning because of the large hail. But there in Waco, as we look at where the heavy precipitation is, it just looks like it's just staying north of Waco, but this is the area of concern. If you draw a line, it could be coming very, very close. So don't take a chance. If you live in the Waco area, you need to be heading to your safe spot right now. This is no joke. This was a confirmed tornado not long ago, but now it's Doppler radar indicated tornado as it pushes off in the direction. And once again, take a look at the ETAs over there. Lake Waco at 545. Bosqueville at 548. There it is. Waco now on the board at 557. It could be moving right through that area. Bellemeade at 6 o'clock to the North Crest area around 6:02, and East Waco at 6:03. the colors that you are looking at right there, the purples, the blacks, indicate some large hail just north of Bosqueville, heading over toward Elmont, Lacey Lakeview, right along I-35. It's to the north at this moment, north of Waco, north of the Baylor area, but tracking off to the east. So keep a close eye on that. There is the big movement of that storm cell, and you'll notice it goes from a purple, which was confirmed tornado warning, to just the regular tornado warning, which is Doppler radar indicated tornado at this time. There is that inflow that we are concerned about right now. If you were in Lacey Lakeview over toward the Belle Meade area, Elmont, Ross, you should be heading to your safe spot right now. Dangerous situation. You make sure your car is parked inside. We've got large hail that's been reported with this. There it is, south of China Spring, not far away from the Caldwell Crossing area. And again, most of that continues to push off to the east. Haley, if we can go to our camera right out the door here, our sky tracker, we're starting to see a shelf cloud and definitely some very scary situations, scary clouds off in the distance. And you can see what I'm talking about right there. There it is, moving through parts of the area. It looks like we're focused. Is that Lake Waco right there?
Yes.
Yeah, it is Lake Waco. So we're focused out in that direction. So this is the area of concern right now. Don't see any rotation with that at this moment, but you are looking at, again, a live shot from our sky tracker right here in the Woodway area. And this is what it looks like if we look out in the distance here across the region. We've got a little lowering of a cloud out here, kind of like a shelf cloud, if you will, for the most part. That'll be moving through that region, and this is the area we need to really watch very, very closely. Remember, we said it's staying north of the Waco area. This is where we need to watch out for the strongest, possibly the rotating supercell here that could give us that tornado. We are also, bringing you not only the hail out there, but also quite a bit of lightning. Haven't got reports of anybody yet losing, I should say, electricity. But if you happen to lose it, remember just to download fox44news.com or Fox44 News app. Make sure you get it on your iPad, get it on your phone. That will definitely help you through it. We'll give you live information as we stream this live here. Our velocity, we're picking up 2 shear markers right now. Here's Lake Waco. So what you were looking at out there right now is one of these here. Just because we think it may be just staying a little bit to the north, at least that's what the direction right now of the box is. That means don't let your guard down here in the Waco area, because if you put a track on that, it could be taking it right on top of Waco right now. We're very, very close. If you are in the Lake Waco area, you should be taking cover because that's moving in your direction. There we go, over towards Spiegelville, Waco, over toward Belle Meade, Beverly Hills. All those areas right now need to seek shelter right now because it is marching in your direction. The purple color indicate a little bit in the way of some stronger hail, but also very heavy rainfall in that area. South and east of China Spring, not far away from the Caldwell Crossing area, we're getting reports of some large hail, at least at this time, and there's our markers on there. Possible rotation, not only in one spot, but in a second spot north of Spiegelville. If you're in Spiegelville, get to your safe spot right now. This is dangerous. This is a possible tornado right now. It's heading over toward Lake Waco. It's not far away from Bosqueville. We had Bart Cox talking to us earlier about what he sees. He saw all kinds of dark clouds and some lower clouds too. That's what we've been picking up on our camera. Matter of fact, Haley, if we can go back to the camera right outside the door here, let's take a look and see what we got now.
Yet, Mike, also, they are going to issue a new tornado warning coming in from McLennan County, and this is going to include all of Waco and Belle Meade. It looks like what you were talking about, there was some of that low-level reflectivity that was increasing just to the south. That's why there were 2 little shear markers popping up. I thought it was potentially just a little radar error, because sometimes you can get kind of a wonky scan, but it looks like there's a stronger inflow into that storm that's occurring. So it'll most definitely now include Waco. That should be issued here within a minute. So basically Waco to Belle Meade to Lacey Lakeview, all these different areas. If you're in this tornado warning, we put a storm tracker on areas that could be rotating, especially the one that's just to the southeast of China Springs. This one is a most definite. So that's going to move into Bosqueville here in the next couple minutes. So be in that safe place immediately. That's going to be the lowest, most interior part of your home, away from doors and windows. If you got a storm shelter, go get in that. This storm at one point did produce a very small tornado, and then it kind of lifted back up. So again, it could still have that potential to produce that tornado, but if you're also in Spiegelville, this is going to move in your direction within the next couple minutes. Lake Waco, same thing, over towards Lacey Lakeview in about 10 minutes or so. So this is all tracking just to the north of Woodway, just to the north of Hewitt, Beverly Hills. This is going to clip basically the northern part of Waco, and so they actually just put out that new tornado warning. I'm waiting for it to go ahead and update.
You know, hey, let's go back and forth there from our sky tracker to our radar, because we're seeing it right out the door here. And what you are looking at there, this is the area of concern right now. We're looking at right over Lake Waco. There is a tornado warning that's now going to be extended down through the Waco area at this time. It's coming across right now. We're getting reports of wind over 63 miles per hour. Again, our ASOS has been reporting that. That's just an instrument that we use to measure some wind speeds, and that's what we are seeing right now. But this is definitely the area of concern that we're watching, and it looks like that's going to continue to track off to the east at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. And it definitely is showing on the radar as well, with some very, very heavy rainfall at this time, not to mention possible rotation going on inside the thunderstorm. So what we are watching right now, it's kind of like almost like a lowering for the most part, the shelf cloud, but we would see some rain off in the distance here, and this activity on this supercell will continue to track off, basically off to the east. But that's what we are looking at right now. Once again, Lake Waco, that is where our camera is aimed at right now. Let me back out of the way. You can see, Haley, even on the right part of the screen there, it's getting even a little bit more well-defined here in the region. I mean, with that thunderstorm moving through.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like you just said earlier, the data out at the airport, Waco Regional Airport, it did pick up a wind gust of 63 miles per hour not too long ago. So you can see the sky tracker kind of shaking back and forth. It's windy out there. What we're looking at is that storm that's just it looks like it's to the north, in between Caldwell Crossing and Spiegelville. We're kind of watching two different areas and eyeing two different kind of rotation within the storm. It's got a lot of energy, it's got a lot of potential, and it did have some potential.
Yeah, and the sirens, can you hear the sirens out there, Haley?
Yeah, the sirens are now going off here in Waco, so we are watching that. I'm going to flip it back to radar to kind of get you a good idea as to what we're watching. So our station, our camera is set up shop here in Woodway, so that camera is pointed out within this direction, so it's up to the northwest is what we're looking at. And that storm, like I said, now a tornado warning it's now been included for Waco, for Belmead, for Lacey, Lakeview, Elmont, all these areas, and it's now pushing down to, it looks like it's got a more southeasterly progression, and that's going to expire at 6:30.
That goes until 6:30. You know what, Haley? Let's stay on our Viper radar. Let's get real close here. See if we can get down to the city streets, or at least very, very close, so we can kind of pinpoint exactly where this is and where it is heading. You're looking at velocity right now, and feel free to draw on there if you like to. But there's Lake Waco, and like you said, we are looking at over toward Lake Waco right now with our camera, and what we are seeing is all kinds of some scud clouds that are around it, possible areas of that shelf cloud. Also, don't have a report of any wall clouds right now or any rotation, but these thunderstorms and this supercell has had a history of that in this area. There's Spiegelville right now. You need to be seeking shelter right now in that spot because it's all moving through your area. You can see the purple color staying to the north with the hail up there, the heavy rainfall in that area. But right now, if we can go back over to our camera, maybe we can see the progression right now on this and what we are looking at right now with our sky tracker. Once again, conditions are looking like, yeah, we've got some issues going on right now. Possible, lowering of that. I don't want to say a wall cloud out there, but it looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. There was also a report in Bosqueville as of a couple minutes ago, and they were seeing some baseball size softball size hail in Bosqueville, just near Waco Regional Airport now.
Yeah, then that's all associated. And again, when you see baseball size hail, that's indicating how tall and how strong the supercell is. You need to have large, when you get large hail like that, you need to have a real big thunderstorm that could be maybe, as high as 6 or 7 miles tall to get something like that. But what we are seeing on the bottom edge, and let me get out of the way here, a little lightning out there as well. But that is the area of concern. And you are looking at a live picture. Again, that is a live picture from our live Centix roof system sky tracker right here in Woodway. And you are looking at, again, the area of concern. We've got tornado warnings in effect right now for McLennan County. Possible rotation. We don't see anything yet kind of tailing down to the ground, but we can definitely see the rain off in the distance there, as well as the low clouds that are starting to move in this direction. So if you live in McLennan County right now, you are hearing the sirens, and we are also basically looking at the possible rotation going on.
Yeah, they're talking about that low-level rotation that you're seeing on your TV right now with our sky tracker. It's rapidly increasing, and it's right over downtown Waco, or just to the north of it, and it's on the east end of Lake Waco. So it may try to do something here very shortly, and we are watching this and monitoring this. You can see the storm rotating. I mean, that's an incredible picture. We don't get that kind of weather right over Waco very often, but we could potentially see this certain storm drop a tornado. It's had a history of doing it in the past, so that's why they continue to put this tornado warning statement attached to it, because of this rotation. So the sirens are still going off here. It sounds like it's also here in Woodway, over towards Waco, over towards Lacey, Lakeview, Belle Meade. That rotation looks like it's just to the east of Spiegelville, moving to the west, moving into western part of downtown Waco. So if you're in downtown Waco, you can hear my voice, or you are watching our feed. This storm is rotating. It's moving in your direction. And there it is. I think that's that rotation
I think
that we're watching is
right there.
Right in this direction.
I think you're absolutely right. And you're right, Haley, that is going to continue to move off to the east here. Now, if you go back to the cameras, you can kind of see a little rotation beginning to happen here across our area with that supercell moving through our area. Again, this is a live shot coming in right out the door here. We are looking at not only some lower clouds, and we're kind of shifting the camera just a little bit. Let me get out of the way here, because that is Highway 84. That is Highway 84 eastbound, just to get your bearings. But the clouds, if you look very closely, they're starting to rotate just a little bit. We've got some heavy rain off in the distance. The downtown area is in that direction, as you know. Baylor's back over in this direction. So if you're watching at Baylor University, take cover. It's all tracking off to the east, roughly about 20, 25 miles an hour.
Yes.
And again, that picture right there kind of tells the story of what's going on. You keep flipping back and forth from our reflectivity. You can see the lightning out there as well. But a lot of this has been pulsating up and down, and we are definitely concerned about what's going on right now. This is rotating. If you take a look right now, these are some clouds, some low-lying clouds that are kind of moving around with that supercell, kind of rotating around. We've had that sunshine today. We've had plenty of instability across the area, and there it is as we get closer with our shear markers on there around the Lake Waco area. You're looking at a live picture, and that is our velocity, looking at the wind in there. It shows just off now to the east of the Spiegelville area, and it continues to track off not far away, right in that direction, over toward the downtown Waco area, moving east and slightly southeast. You know, it's going to be turning a little bit. It's trying to find out where the warmer and more enriched air is, and that's what it follows. 555 downtown Waco. That's within the next couple of minutes. Over toward Beverly Hills at 558. Over toward East Waco at 603, over toward the Neal area around 612. This is the whole kind of the whole supercell that's marching in that direction, producing quite a bit in the way of some windy conditions. And we're not seeing a lot of rain right now here at the station. we're out ahead of it for the most part. But back off to the west, you can see very, very heavy rainfall. Some hail being reported just north right now of the Waco area. In the purple color, there's Bananas Junction, all tracking off to the east. This is moving east and slightly northeast there, but this whole line itself is moving back off to the east. So if you are in these communities, you need to be seeking shelter right now. I'm talking about the Waco area, Hewitt, Woodway, over toward Bellmead. It's moving in your direction. The sirens continue to move and are going off here across our area. This is the area of concern. We are watching this as it tracks off to the east. Now on what we are looking at, there's East Waco, down toward Waco, Beverly Hills, down toward the Woodway area at this time, all looking at a tornado warning. Until 6 o'clock this evening, what we are looking at for the most part on our cameras too is a lot of low-level clouds. We've been seeing some rotation going on, and once again, our live sky tracker. This is our Centex roof system sky tracker.
Hasn't updated yet.
Okay,
It's
that's Highway 84. Here comes another warning. You can hear our sirens going off here in the weather center here, keeping track. That is Highway 84. Once again, we've got that shelf cloud out ahead of the supercell, and this is the area of seeing some very, very heavy rainfall right now, starting to fall across the area, and that will continue to be really coming down at a pretty good clip. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see flash flood warnings come out for that area. Highway 84 westbound, heading down toward the downtown area. Baylor University's off in the distance as well. They are in line as this supercell is moving in that direction. The low clouds, it doesn't look quite as well defined, Haley, as it did before, but still producing quite a bit in the way of some windy conditions and some heavy rain.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that tornado threat is still very high near Waco, so stand guard with this because at any moment it could drop a potential tornado like it did in the past. But I am keeping an eye out on our storm relative velocity. You know, that's our inbound and outbound winds. That's the rotation up inside the storm, which is what we saw not too long ago on our sky tracker. But it looks as though rain has started to move kind of in the picture right here. So we may have lost that little wall cloud that we were looking at, or that shelf cloud potentially. But there's still some pretty hefty rotation moving right over downtown Waco, just to the north of Beverly Hills. This is just to the north of Woodway. And once again, that is most definitely our biggest primary concern. We haven't forgotten about any of our counties back off to the north and west. We're still looking at some pretty strong thunderstorms up in Hamilton. We're also going to move into Bosque. This is going to be a very large hail threat. Could be looking at the potential for some baseball to softball size hail. Still hanging on to a severe thunderstorm warning over in Hillsborough and Hill County. That also is a hail threat, as well as some very gusty winds. Our primary focus right now is at one point this storm did drop a tornado, and it is moving right over downtown Waco.
Yeah, they got over, if we go zoom into, if you don't mind, over to the Beverly Hills area now. Beverly Hills or near Waco, it's moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. Again, this is Doppler radar indicated. Also getting reports of possible hail right now as large as 2.75 inches in diameter. 2.75 is very, very large hail. We're getting over baseball size hail in that area, but that is the area of concern right now. Again, a tornado warning is in effect until 6:30. We've got a storm right now, a supercell capable of producing a tornado located right over Beverly Hills or near Waco, moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So you need to be seeking shelter immediately right now if you live in that area, Beverly Hills. And you are under the gun as it's moving in your direction. You can see where Beverly Hills is right there, just to the north and east of the Woodway, the Hewitt area, again, tracking off to the east. Take a look at some of the communities that are in line with the possible Doppler radar indicated tornado. Heading over toward basically the Wardlaw area around 606 Oak Lake at 614 Harris at 6:16 and Lake Creek at 6:23. We get you a little bit closer in. You can see the city streets on there. The city streets. There's Beverly Hills right now. You can see where Valley Mills Drive is. You can see where I-35, the service road is. The service road. What you are watching is it's going to be moving right across the highway here over toward East Waco. And of course, that's where the Baylor is. That's where a lot of other communities are as well. And that's where the brunt of the storm cell will be moving in that direction. Again, most of this activity has been pulsating up and down, but that tornado warning for McLennan County goes until 6:30. Right now, we're checking out the cameras. See, most of the moisture has been off just to our east and to our north for the most part. What we are seeing, though, and hearing the sirens that are going off here in our area. Sirens are going off in the Waco area as well as Hewitt and the Belmead area and down toward the Woodway region. But that's the area of concern right now. We've got that wind kind of going in and wrapping around here. The gate-to-gate shear is why we have the warnings going on. Again, Doppler radar indicated, haven't seen any confirmed reports right now from the tornado, but you're looking at the Viper radar, and we've had some very, very heavy amounts of rain that have been coming down, and flash flood warnings have been going on just to our north right now, Haley, up in Bosque County for the most part. But we're going to stay with this storm right now because a lot of folks are just getting home from work and they're hearing the sirens outside. There's like, what's going on? I know there are folks that have lost electricity right now, or at least web service, which indicates, you're losing some power. You can't watch TV if you have, an app. So you can always get us on your phone, on your iPad. That's download the app at Fox 44 News, and we'll be able to give you the live information. We're live streaming this all the way. But that is that's Interstate 35 up and down right there. The roads, East Waco. Well, I know this area well, down here toward the Baylor area, and just off to the east is the other side where we're seeing some heavy rainfall right along South 11th Street. There's 18th Street down toward Waco Drive, downtown, down where the Alico is, and that's where they're seeing some very heavy showers and storms. Now, the rotation on the Bosque storm was a little bit farther to the north right now, but it has weakened, so that one's been producing some large hail, and you were showing that a little bit earlier on how that is kind of holding together. But that, again, they're all pulsating up and down, and with our conditions today, we've made temperatures in the 70s to lower 80s across the area, so we had plenty of energy to work with. And of course, late this afternoon, we saw a little sunshine out there, which didn't help at all, did it, whatsoever. But again, as you zoom into that area, we are also looking at some very strong hail. But we'll go back down to where the tornado warning is, and then we'll focus in on that because the sirens have been going on and off. They're off right now, and we are getting indications, at least with our tracker. We've got basically stuff that we're looking at right now that we see, especially with the hail path and our debris detector.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that rotation is also tightening up. It's now going to move into East Waco, into, looks like it could move over into Oak Lake. That's a little too far north, but it keeps kind of wobbling back and forth. It'll move east for a little bit, and then it'll move northeast, and then we'll go back to moving east at 30, and then it'll drop to the southeast. So Waco, downtown Waco, if you can hear my voice, I'm going to once again pull up our sky tracker because out in the distance, that's downtown Waco. Over towards the right just a little bit will be the Central Texas Marketplace, probably getting a lot of rain within that direction as well, maybe further up to the north. But we saw a pretty decent storm. We saw the supercell move through not too long ago, and it had some very decent rotation. We watched it on our camera move right over Lake Waco, continued to trek off to the east. And so we're still eyeing this area. This is continually kind of being our main focus for concern. So within this little kind of area right here, I mean just right over Waco, just to the east of Lake Waco, east of Spiegelville, that is where your rotation is. And luckily, as it continues to pass over, downtown Waco, it hasn't dropped a tornado, but at one point it did. So we're very lucky for that. It was a cool image to see.
It was pulsating up and down. It was pulsating up when it was moving through, which is some good news. But Haley, we're getting reports too of some ping pong ball size hail. It's 1.5 inch in diameter, as reported out at MCC. So, the hail was out there as well, and that was on their main campus with that storm cell moving through.
Yeah, exactly. And these storms, these are monster supercells, and when I mean that, they have the potential to rotate, which is why we're seeing that tornado warned storm, obviously here in McLennan County. But if we kind of reset the scene at 6 o'clock, I know if a lot of people are, getting home from work and whatnot, we are eyeing primarily that tornado warned storm right here in central McLennan County. That goes until 6:30, and that's going to keep pushing off to the east at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll get to that here in 2 seconds. But back up to our north, a severe thunderstorm warning still ongoing for Central Hill County, that's Hillsborough. And then we have these big supercells moving in from the west, and these are, they blink in this kind of tan box. That's your destructive severe thunderstorm warning. We could be looking at hail. Potentially the size of baseball to softball size hail. Could see a little bit higher amounts of that as well. So the only warned storm that could potentially drop a tornado is right over Waco. So that is our primary focus. We haven't forgotten about those different areas back up to our north and to our west. We're keeping an eye on this rotation. It seems to be the only one that's kind of held up, and it looks like okay.
We got another warning coming. Matter of fact, while you're looking at that warning, Haley, we've got a picture from the Waco PD right now, and this was sent in. Look at that. Tiara Shipley sent this in right now, and you can see the hail hitting the windshield, or it hit the windshield, and you can see what happened. It definitely cracked it right now, and it just goes to show you how dangerous that is with the hail across the area. What we are going to be seeing is not only the hail, but we're also dealing with quite a bit in the way of some very heavy rainfall, some localized flooding, and of course, the possible tornado. Right now on our velocity, what you are looking at right now is the wind. But Haley, if you could flip back over to our sky tracker here in Woodway, let's kind of keep an eye, because again, the activity on the rotation, and it was a rotating thunderstorm, supercell that moved through. So what you saw live was actually confirmed. They were talking about it too on the chat with the chasers, that it was a rotating wall cloud, and that's what we had there. But we are looking again, that is east. That is Highway 84 eastbound for the most part, down toward the downtown Waco area, and that is the supercell that is moving away from the city right now. But producing some very, very heavy rainfall at this moment. Matter of fact, you can see the heavy rain on our reflectivity for the most part, indicating where the heaviest is. And it looks like that'll be the trend here over the next half hour or so. Go back, over to the reflectivity. It's coming. And that will show you that the heavier rainfall, you can see the colors there around the Bellmead area, kind of tailing up toward Axtell and then over toward Elk. And then we look at our velocity, which is the wind inside these thunderstorms. Again, the red indicates the wind blowing away from the radar site. Our radar site is down in Fort Hood, so it's moving away, the red away, and the green is toward. And where do you get the back to gate shear there, the inflow outflow, that's where you will have the possible rotation, and that is the spot right now just off to the east of the Waco area. Hey, we've got a marker on there. We'll get a little bit closer in there and put a storm track on there for you to show you that a lot of this activity continues to pulsate up and down with the heat of the day. We knew that we were under the gun for today here, and we knew that not only large hail, but tornadoes were going to be the big problem, the biggest threats here to start it off, and that's exactly what we're seeing. There we go. We'll put that track on there and back out of the way. If you live in the Oak Lake area, over toward Neal and Hallsburg, as well as Battle and Mart and Lake Creek, you need to be heading to your safe shelter right now. Again, that spot, you see the circle there, that's a shear marker for us, telling us that's where the rotation is being picked up on our Viper radar. If you live over toward Oak Lake, 6:15, that's within basically the next 8 minutes. Over toward Harrison at 6:17, Lake Creek itself at 6:25, Riesel at 6:31. There's Black Land at 6:36 too. That little inflow notch right there, again, that is something you don't want to see, because that indicates that the wind is blowing into these thunderstorms. It gets into the thunderstorm, and then all of a sudden it's rising because it's warm air. it mixes up with the cold air. And again, the ingredients for possible rotation all come together right in that area. But there's Belle Meade. Heavy rain right now, heavy thunderstorms moving through the area. And then back to your west. You may be thinking, hey, once that moves through, we're in the clear. No, we're not in the clear at all because we've got another break. Now, the main concern, we've got tornado warnings out right now around Mills County. But with this line beginning to congeal a little bit, our main threat of large hail and tornadoes will eventually start to turn to some very, very strong winds. We're talking winds maybe 65 to 75 miles per hour. So some very, very destructive winds. Right now, very large hail possible around the Goldthwaite area in parts of Mills County. We'll put a track on that too because that is a concern of ours, that hail is heading off to the east. There's some shear markers you're seeing on there right now, and as we draw it off to the east, roughly 25 to 30 miles an hour, it will take it over toward Goldthwaite at 6:10. So within the next minute or so, hopefully you've got your car in the safe spot over toward Pleasant Grove at 6:31, Center City at 6:32. It'll be moving in your direction, and then down toward the Rattler area as well as Locker and Spring Creek. That is some very heavy rainfall, some smaller hail, but the big hail, as you can see with our debris detector there, is not far away from Goldthwaite in the Big Valley area as that pushes off to the east. With that whole line, it's quiet right now in basically it's in Saba, but it's just to your northwest, and that could kind of drop. So if you're in Saba, you're under the warning, and that means you need to be thinking about heading to your safe spot. That warning goes until 7 o'clock this evening. All is quiet in Lampasas over toward Gatesville and Hamilton right now, but that line is starting to fill in. Right now, the tornado warning you see over in the central part and the eastern part of McLennan County still in effect at this hour. That tornado warning goes until 6:30. So for the next 20 minutes or so, this is the spot that's been kind of producing those tornadoes, those spin-ups up and down. They've been pulsating. And again, that activity is just off to the west of the Hallsburg area. We'll put some attributes on there, and we'll throw on a tracker for you for the most part. And you can see, heading over toward Harrison around 6:14, Lake Creek at 6:20, Black Land at 6:31, Mart 6:35, that heavy rainfall. You see the purples there around Axtell, Elk? That is hail. That is a hail that could be definitely doing some damage, Haley.
Yeah, exactly. They are getting some reports over in Baylor. Baylor campus is now getting some golf ball size hail. So these storms, I mean, their updrafts are just so strong. They're incredibly strong that they just loft these ice particles and hold them for an extended period of time. And those ice particles collide with one another and create some monster size hail. I mean, we've gotten hail sizes upwards of golf ball, even backwards to ping pong, baseball, tennis ball. I mean, just insane hail sizes. And that also continues to be a threat here in McLennan County. Luckily for the folks down in Woodway, Beverly Hills, Hewitt, into Robinson, it looks like we're going to miss out on this monstrous hailstorm, but still eyeing that rotation. That continues to be a very, very strong supercell here in McLennan County. Once again, that tornado warning goes until 6:30.
Yeah, and that continues to be the That'll continue to be the story, Haley, as we go toward the next 15 to 20 minutes. We're still watching that possible rotation. You see how everything's beginning to shift a little bit off to the east there. So right now it's all quiet for the most part in Mahia over toward the Groesbeck area. But Limestone County, guess what? You're probably going to be under some kind of warning here very, very soon as that's moving in your direction. The shear marker is exactly the area or the spot of rotation that we could possibly be worried about right now as that moves off to the east, but we're starting to kind of calm down a little bit here in the Waco area, but more showers and storms are back off to the east. As we get a little closer in here, we're going to hang with this tornado warning here for a second or two because it is now kind of pulsating back up over toward the Hallsburg area, over toward Lake Creek as it tracks off to the east. Once this area right here, you can see, Haley, the bright green and the bright red. Yeah, very impressive. You're absolutely right. Very impressive rotation right now, and it's been pulsating and moving off to the east. There's the tracker on it right now. We've got that tornado warning from McLennan County till 6:30, but if you're in Hallsburg, Lake Creek, Battle, or Mart, you need to get to your safe spot now. This is a dangerous situation. We've got a Doppler radar indicated tornado. We've had reports earlier that was confirmed, but now this is Doppler radar indicated, but you don't want to take any chances with this. You want to get in your safe spot. Get into the center part of your home. You want to stay away from windows. Get into a bathroom. Get into maybe a closet. Stay away from anything that can break and come flying at you for the most part. Also have had reports of some hail. We've had some large hail been reported up toward the Elk area, over toward Axtell. That is our hail path. The darker colors indicate some large hail across the area, and that's what we've been seeing. We've had reports anywhere over 2 inches, 2.75 inch in diameter hail. So some extremely large hail. These are very let's say cellular thunderstorms that we are seeing across the area. They're supercells for the most part. There's one here, one there, one there. That's why the main threat happens to be not only hail, large hail, but tornadoes too, because they're by their self. They can feed off the moisture. This one can do it, that one can do it, another one can do it. That's why our main threats right now are the large hail and the damaging winds that we're seeing around, and that's why we have that tornado warning in effect north of the Hallsburg area as it tracks off. We're looking at our debris detector right now, and what we are trying to look for right now is any debris that's been picked up by the funnel or the possible tornado north of the Hallsburg area. But it's also a good indicator, too, of which way it's going to be moving, too. So we put this into motion, heading over toward Mart, over toward Watt. And again, our sirens are going off back here in the Weather Center. Haley, are we seeing some more warnings or new information?
No, they're just going to continue that tornado warning for McLennan. Still watching that severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado. Now is located to the southeast of Belmead, or just to the east of the city of Waco, moving off to the east at 25. So the Weather Service is saying, oh, this rotation looks really good, which it does, you know, pulling up our velocity scanner. When you get those green colors and those red colors to align and they start to sit pretty adjacent to one another, that's some pretty decent rotation. They're starting to say it does look a little bit more ragged than before, which I do agree, but it's held this rotation over the last several minutes. I mean, it moved from the China Springs area all the way to the east side of the city of Waco, and it still hadn't dropped a tornado. I mean, thank goodness it didn't. We don't need any of that, but it's still hanging on to some of this pretty tight rotation, moving east at 25. Again, this is the storm that we're really focused on because at one point this storm did produce a tornado, so that's going to move into battle at 6:21. Mart, you're going to be getting this rotation and also could be getting some rain and a little bit of lightning as well. Some small hail could be embedded in that at about 6:29, so in 15 minutes or so. Victoria at 6:38.
Yeah, and it continues to pulsate up and down. You're right. We are looking at the heat of the day. The high temperatures today were making it into the 70s and lower 80s. So we had the fuel out there. We had a little sunshine to deal with. That sunshine on a day like today is something you don't want to see because that definitely warms the ground, which warms the air, and it makes the air more unstable. And that's what we're having to deal with. So not only are we dealing with that frontal boundary on top of us, that warm front that we had moved through late last night, it kind of stalled out as a stationary front. So right along the front is what we're talking about right now with the showers and the thunderstorms, and we've got a little impulse of energy on top of it. We still have the cold front to deal with. That's going to be later on tonight and early tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that. That cold front still back off to our northwest, but out ahead of it, showers and thunderstorms have been firing. Those that cold front pushed out a few outflow boundaries, and now they're firing up with the heat of the day right along basically our western and northwestern viewing areas from the Waco area. As you work your way down into Hamilton County, there's Goldthwaite, some very large hail in Mills County that tails it down into parts of San Saba County. Severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings are in effect at this time. These are Doppler radar indicated tornadoes, meaning that the radar is looking inside. It's rotation. They have not been confirmed, but the triggers on the radars here have been tripped because of the rotation inside. But look at that large hail possibly in that area, not too far away from Goldthwait. And that line goes all the way back to Ridge and to Buffalo and Indian Creek and basically the Brooksmith area. That is some very, very large hail, and that was all tracking off to the east. So again, very, very strong supercells moving through the area to produce hail that large and for that long a period. There's a tracker on this tornado warning in Mills County, moves off to the east at 25 miles per hour, but it takes it over towards Center City around 6:33, over toward McKirk around 6:46, Star at 6:46 as well. That heavy rainfall out there with it. And then if you tail it a little bit farther up into northern parts of Hamilton County, Haley, over toward Bosque, we've got some more rotation possible there. And you'll notice not far away from the Fairleigh area, we've got a pretty strong cell on top of that right now, and that continues to track off to the east. Kind of holding steady right now, but you can see the little attributes on there, our flyers for the most part. We are talking about hail size, could be over 3 inches in diameter in some of these isolated cells. So that is nothing to play around with. Walnut Springs, as well as the Live Oak area, also looking at not only some heavy rainfall, but some very, very large hail from Chalk Mountain back toward the Selden area, not too far away from Dublin. Destructive severe thunderstorm warning, and that is because of the large hail. We've had hail reports, at least Doppler radar estimated, between 2 and 3 inches. That is some very, very large hail. So you have to have a super big supercell to have something that large, and that's what we are seeing here across our area. If you live in the Cransville Gap area, over toward Clifton in Bosque County, Meridian, you need to be definitely on the lookout here. You want to make sure you put your car in the garage, be ready for that hail to be moving through that area. But that tornado warning still continues, Haley, right, for the eastern part. Now, McLennan County is we're starting to see that beginning to push a little bit farther back off to the east in that area. Any updates on that at all?
Yeah, so we're still watching this tornado warned storm here in McLennan County. Still has some decent rotation right over Hallsburg, and that's going to move straight into Mart here within the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. No confirmed tornado as of right now, but treat it like so. Back up to the north, the National Weather Service has also issued a tornado warning for Bosque and for Hamilton, and that's going to go until 7 o'clock tonight. They are watching some area of rotation right here. So that's moving east at 30 as well. So let's go ahead and put a tracker on this where our little, what's it moving? East at 30 miles per hour. Okay.
Yeah, it's moving up that way.
Yeah, so it's right, the rotation is right over Ferry, and that could potentially move into Bosque, into parts of Meridian, maybe just southern Meridian, into the Clifton area. And these storms, the way that they're blinking this kind of tan color, these are destructive, severe thunderstorm warnings. These will do damage to your car. They could potentially do damage to your yard, anything you have out there, because they are throwing down some monster size hail, especially in Walnut Springs. We did get a report of hail that was the size, it was about grapefruit size hail. So a ton of hail in these storms. If we even back it off towards northern Hamilton County, still looking at this big cell that dropped a lot of hail within that area as well. It did pick up the potential to rotate. Going now back to the southwest, we're going to drop it down to Mills, still watching that destructive severe thunderstorm warning, and that's a hail threat. Huge hail in this, golf ball or baseball to tennis ball size hail being measured within this storm, moving right over Durnville, over Goldthwait as well. And that has also issued a tornado warning within that storm as well. It did pick up some rotation in Mills County right over Goldthwait. So once again, going to put a tracker on this. Also moving to the east, I'm going to go about 29, 30 miles per hour. So Center City, this is in Mills County, and that could potentially wrap right into Lampasas and into the southwestern portion of Hamilton County in this direction. So Center City at 6:33, McGurk at 6:44, Star also at 6:44. Those are the different communities moving in that direction. So we got a lot going on here, Mike. We're going to stay with you up until the severe weather threat basically ends for us here in Central Texas.
Yeah, and it's going to be going for a little while, too. We want to go back into McLennan County here. Let's go back there and take a look at the showers and the storms there. We're still under the tornado warning. It's kind of moved a little bit farther to the east now of the warned area. That box goes until 6:30. But if you live in Mart right now, you need to take cover. If you live in the Ben-Hur area, Kirk, Lavender, Horn Hill, you get the idea. That's moving in your direction. And this is, again, a Doppler radar indicated tornado in that region. And that's moving in your direction for the most part. By the way, I'm just reading here the latest report from Hallsburg on the wire, and they had baseball size hail being reported in Hallsburg. Baseball size hail right now, that is very large in diameter, and that continues to track off to the east. That's the area of concern. We'll put a track on that. We'll drag it off to the east, 28, 29 miles per hour or so. It takes it over toward Battle at 6:26. Again, more information is coming across right now. That was what you were talking about. That this is the tornado warning. That was in Mills County, but 2 miles to the south of Belmead in McLennan County. This is important here because they've had reports from a spotter of softball size hail. This is in McLennan County here. That is 4.5 inches in diameter, 2 miles east of Waco. Wow, that is grapefruit size hail. Let me repeat that again, because this is 2 miles south of Belmead in McLennan County. A trained spotter reports hail, softball size hail, that's 4.5 inches in diameter. Again, that is a huge hail as it moves through. As we take a quick peek there, is there a hail path, but we're also looking at the tornado warning up in by Limestone County, because Limestone County is next in line, but that's going to pass near or just north of the Mart area. Multiple reports, though, of baseball-size hail with this. Baseball size, we're talking hail even larger than 4 inches in diameter, so extremely large hail. Look at the clouds now. This is, again, our live Syntex, what we're looking at, our Syntex roof system sky tracker here in the Woodway area.
It's dark in Woodway.
Very, very dark. The low clouds that are moving through. That is Highway 84, just to get your bearing. Highway 84 moving that way is eastbound. We are looking at a lot of cloud cover out there. It's dry for the most part, but hail has been a huge story right now. We're getting reports of softball size hail and grapefruit size hail in parts of McLennan County. Matter of fact, that's something that'll do tremendous damage right now. The tornado warning is still in effect for the next 5 minutes for this area, but we're looking downstream over toward Limestone County. There's Battle, there's the Mart area, there's the area of concern. That'll continue to track off to the east at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Once again, take a look here at the community. See if you're involved. Midway, 6:37. Kirk, around 6:39. Lavender at about 6:46. The Horn Hill area at 6:50. And Thelma, around 6:53. It could be moving through your area. If you still are not seeing any rain where you are right now, you may be getting ready to get just hammered with some heavier rainfall as that moves off in your direction. There's the tracker on the area of concern at this time. Notice how it's moving a little bit farther east of the box. We're talking about the tornado watch box. That means if you're downstream, you're in Limestone County, odds are you're going to be seeing a warning here very, very soon as it moves off in your direction. Hail has been reported to be very large with the supercell that's moving through. So these are huge clouds that are moving through, huge storm systems that are moving through our area. Over toward Mart at 6:28, Ben-Hur around 6:41. Midway is 6:41. There's Lavender around 6:50. That tornado warning still in effect right now for the next 4 minutes here in the Waco area, but there's a very good chance that they may extend that over to Limestone County here. And there's a look at the hail. Tremendous amounts of hail being reported, and even back to our west. Like I said, there's more on the way here, and it's starting to line up a little bit, but right now the hail is going to be the big problem through at least o'clock this evening. From parts of Bosque County, you can kind of see it down toward Hamilton County, the northern part of Hamilton County, around the Waco area, and then down south around Goldthwaite in parts of Mills County, and then Sensaba County under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. But there's our shear marker as we get a little bit closer into the Cranfield Gaps area. Some very intense wind around the ferry area and down around basically just north of Hamilton as that moves off to the east. Again, we're flashing the warning out there. These are destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. When you see that flashing going on right now with that color, that's because of the large hail that's been associated with that. We're not talking golf ball size hail. We're talking baseball to softball size hail. Tremendous, big thunder heads producing these, and again, Haley tracks off to the east.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here. So once again, I'm going to wrap up this tornado warning up in Hamilton, and that also moves into Bosque, the western portions of Bosque. That's your area of rotation right here, so that's going to move into Meridian within the next 25, 30 minutes or so if it can hold up. So let's go ahead and kind of reset the scene.
It is our biggest truck month event ever at Nile Maxwell in Killeen. Get $10,000 in total savings on 2023 Ram Lone Star Crew Cabs, plus 1.9% financing for 36 months. Nile Maxwell's got the trucks in Killeen.